I mean, like, they think they can body anybody, and you don't expect them to, though. To friends and family who knows about my dog, my little silky terrier Corky, he's the kind of dog who's like about like the size, who comes up like half of your femur, and then will start. He will pick fights with like German shepherds or like big old huskies or like shit that's like 3 times his size, and he will like try to fight them. But then like he finds like a dog that's smaller than him. He's like, "Do not worry, small thing. I will protect you. Follow me. I now own this country.
I will protect, and I will.
I will protect. I will protect." Exactly. He will attack everything bigger than him, but everything smaller than him is like, "Do not worry, small child. I will defend you." And it's funny. I was just telling Lasse that I actually am not in my normal house today. I'm actually house sitting for my mom at the moment, cause at last minute notice, they're in Puerto Rico right now. They were like, "Hey, Cloudy, take care of Corky for us, because we're over there. Your grandmother and your aunt are in another part of Central America. They're in El Salvador right now. My older brother works as a pharmacist in Rhode Island, and my little sister could do it, but she just like disowned her own dog because Corky was originally hers, because apparently little old Corky, I will defend the young and innocent, and I will fight anything bigger than me, supposedly bit my little sister in her foot, and apparently she was fine at first, and then she just didn't get like the bite checked for like 5 days. So she just left Corky alone, went out with her friends, and then her wound got infected, and then she had to be put in a cast for that infection or some shit for like 4 months. So she just disowned Corky at this point. So now I'm the only one capable of, holding down this harbinger of darkness. So really, I'm just here for another week, just looking after Corky, making sure he doesn't burn down the U.S. Senate or some shit.
I can imagine your sister tells that story like a lot different.
Probably,
but like she's up there going, "Oh yeah, so what happened is that he somehow learned kung fu, right? And then he I was trying to protect this orphan." And then the Corky just kicked the shit out of my arm, and now it's broken.
Yeah. Oh no, like Corky's just like we're all gonna bow down to Corky. He will destroy the universe. But besides that, the reason I tell this story is to give a pretty valid excuse for why my dumbass hasn't finished playing Devil May Cry yet. Because as this call happened, I was sitting down playing Devil May Cry 5. I was just getting through like a couple tutorial levels. My dad tells me, "Okay, sure. Alright, I'll go." So, I pop out the disc, and like, I think I thought I put it into Devil May 5 Cry disc. I just put it in an empty one. But I grabbed the Devil May 5 fuck me. DMC 5. There we go. I pop it into the case. I grab the case. I drive like 2 hours down to my mom's house. I say hi to Corky, give him a walk. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go sit down and catch up. I open the case, and there's Bloodborne staring at me, and I'm like, fuck.
I mean, if there had to be a replacement, it would have to be Bloodborne. Let's be real.
Yeah, honestly, like, as far as, like, combat goes and, like, how fun goes, like, at least it's not, like, Kingdom Hearts or something.
Oh, my God.
You would fucking end me if that were the case. But no, I haven't really been playing much video games because I've gotten pretty far in Bloodborne, but I haven't, like, found the need to, like, play it again. But I'm also, like, I do not want to drive back down to, like, my house and then drive back here. I don't want to be on the road 4 hours just for Devil May Cry 5, because, like, I'm probably gonna, like, I'm gonna miss, like, one of Corky's walking cycles, so he's gonna be salty about it. And I do not want to incur his wrath.
I can understand that. You would probably, like, end up as a fucking statistic if you did that.
Oh, definitely. But I can tell you, like, the little bits of DMC5 that I have played, though.
Yeah?
Okay, so, just, like, going back, you know how, like, last week I told you, like, the only thing I did was, like, sat down and saw the movie, and then, like, and then I had to put down the controller because I had to go to work.
So when you say the movie, is that the one where they kind of, like, catch up on what happened in DMC 1 to 4?
Yes, that was what I was talking about. Because I never played before, and I thought that was just, like, what happens that plays automatically in the start screen. I didn't realize it was actually at the bottom of the start screen, and I just accidentally hit it, and then, like, played it without realizing it. But yeah, I saw that. I'm playing as Nero. There's this giant fuck-off tree. It's going through, like, basic combos, like, you use, like, your circle, not your circle. You use your, like, square to shoot your gun, your triangle to slash your sword, your targeting, your all this shit. Like, basically, baby's first combo. It's like, okay, I get it. That's cool. You're holding my hand through it. You talk to, like, Kylo Ren for some fucking reason. And there's, like, a crow.
The Kylo Ren.
I don't know what that's all about.
And they'll explain it.
Eventually. Then I see, like, Dante got his ass beat. Two girl, I think like Lady and Nico are the ones who got their ass beat. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. Lady and Trish. Okay. So they got their ass beats. Nero comes in. I barely understand how targeting works, and I haven't yet understood that, like, you're faster when you're not targeting anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm getting hit by fucking everything because I'm just, like, mindlessly holding down a targeting thing. So, basically doing the whole beginner's trap. I get my ass handed to me.
That is the point with the first fight.
Basically, yeah. Like, oh, okay. Okay, I guess I was supposed to lose, but I wonder if you can win. I wonder if, like, Lasse knows how to beat this easy-ass boss without dying.
You can, but I wouldn't suggest you do it because so what happens is that you beat him and then he goes, oh yeah, and then Nero won and everyone lived happily ever after. Okay, bye. And then just, like, scrolls real fast through some credits and shows some screens. But the problem is that those screens kind of spoil, like, little certain things. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. But it's totally possible.
Okay, that's okay. I was hoping that was the case because I love that shit in video games. Like, hey, we'll just toss you in front of the fucking final boss, and you don't have all the gear you would normally have. But if you beat him, you totally beat him.
Yeah.
Ignore that. My phone is being stupid, and I'm gonna yeet it. Goodbye.
Yeetus
the fetus.
Oh no.
Fucking. But yeah, like, I get through that, I get my ass handed to me. Then comes, like, the van scene.
Van scene.
Which was fucking hype as shit. It's like, alright, hang on, let me just put like, the video game OST on this fucking record player as I just jump out the car and fucking...
With the credits in the scene, like, as physical objects that gets obscured by, like, environmental things, like... demons, blood, sign, wreckage, all this stuff. I always love when a game does that, where the credits are a part of the scene. Like, it's not just, like, an overlay of text.
Oh yeah, it is like a very, like, classic Hollywood trope. Like, you go into an action movie, you just feel the adrenaline pumping. You just, like, when you see, like, the two bullets, like, going into the neck of this fucking, like, beetle-ass thing, and then, like, the credits kind of, like, get smeared by the blood. It's fucking hype.
Yeah. Well, like, if nothing else, I'm glad that you got to that, because that's, like, when you see that one, it's definitely where you either go, yeah, okay, this was dumb, or, no, fuck off, this was the coolest thing I've ever done seen.
Oh yeah, no, like, I'm firmly in the camp, like, this is, like, some hype beast bullshit that I totally fucking love. I'm trying to, like, go through, because, like, I think this is still technically the tutorial. I think I cleared the tutorial, because after this point, it was, like, teaching you how to use, like, the arms you get. And, like, because they told me, oh, this is a limited resource, my brain does the thing where it's like, okay, I'm not going to use this until I absolutely need it. Until they got to the point where it's like, oh, hey, you can just pick up more arms from the ground. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I should be spamming this. What the hell?
And like the longer you play, the more arms become available, and thus the more arms you find around in the environment. So it's very much like use them as much as you want. Don't be afraid of using the overdrive thing where you hold the button down. They're really fun if you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah. The thing is, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so it's scary and terrifying. But no, honestly, once I just realized, oh wait, there are more of these I can just pick up off the ground. Okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna like spam them, and then the game became significantly more fun because I'm like, oh shit, my arm's a fucking grappling hook. Come here, bitch.
So the grappling hook is infinite, so you don't have to worry about that one.
Okay, that's good to know. So yeah, the circle button makes the game very fun. And like, I think like the moment I had to put the game down was like after the cutscene where explaining how I'm assuming it's Virgil just walks into the fucking house and like rips off his arm, is like, I'm taking this back, and his arm turns into the sword, and then he's like just bleeding out on the floor.
I still think like there's two things about that scene that I think is really cool. One is that like he just fucking judo throws Nero like a baby, and that is enough just to rip off the arm. Like if that doesn't establish fucking power, then I don't know what does. But also just the fact like when Nero is laying there in the blood and he's like being shined up by the portal that the masked man then creates, it looks phenomenal. Like it looks fantastic visually.
Okay, you say masked man, so that's making me assume there's actual doubt for this not to be Virgil, and that makes me interested.
You can't see it, but I'm shrugging.
I mean, like, I can kind of see, because I'm watching the stream right now. Which, by the way, hi everybody in chat.
Hi.
But yeah,
real quick, in case it's not blatantly obvious, I'm a little under the weather today, so if it sounds like I'm a little rough, that'll be why. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but no, like at that point, after that cutscene, I had to put the game down because that's when I got the call to like be like, "Hey, go take care of Corky," and I'm like, "Okay," and my dumbass like puts the game in an empty disc, which I actually don't know which disc it went into.
Probably Bloodborne.
So probably, I mean, like. You know, it's weird, because, like, when I originally got my PS4, a friend gave it to me for free because they just decided I don't want to play this anymore, I want to get on with my life, and I'm like, okay. So, like, there's, like, a whole list of fucking things. Like, they gave me, like, a signed copy of Persona 5 that they got from the, like, voice actors, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, I gotta play this sometime, and I think it might have been that, actually. I have just, like, the worst habit of, like, I will just, like, my entire library of cases don't mean anything. What actual games there are is, like, without rhyme or reason. There, you'll find, like, Bloodborne in DMC, and then you're gonna find, like, Skyrim in Bloodborne. And then, like, somewhere down the line, you're gonna find Kingdom Hearts just loose somewhere, because I'm like, why did this come to me?
I'm gonna echo what Alice in the chat is saying. Cloudy is the literal devil.
I think scum is a strong word, but there are times I sit down and organize, but the majority of the time I just refuse to be chaotic. I just choose violence. I found Sly 3 in a Sly 2 case. Oh jeez. So yeah, I'm a bad person. But yeah, what else is new?
I used to I think I still own it, but I had the DVD for this anime. I think it's called Sekirei or something.
Oh yeah.
Not a great anime, but it came like 8 discs or something. I kept finding those discs everywhere. So I moved a few times while I was doing YouTube, and since I owned this thing, and every time a new DVD popped up, like, oh yeah, it was stuck between my Wii games that I never play, or oh, it's in my Final Fantasy X case or something. I was like, I haven't played the, like, I own the game, I've never played that disc. It's one I bought from work. They're like, how the fuck did you make it in there? Like,
they come when they least expect it, but when you need them the most.
I'm full ready one day to bite into a sandwich and boom, there's a Sekiro DVD.
Like, okay, the one thing you get to take solace in is, like, I'm not the kind of person who will put DVDs in game cases, and I won't put games in DVD cases. That's where I draw the line. Yeah, the moment I do that
would just be weird.
At that point, that would be weird. I can understand me being a lazy fuck and just, like, you know, swapping things, but, like, you know, you gotta separate, like, it's an American thing, you gotta separate your peas from your mashed potatoes, and if so much any of the molecules touch, then there will be hell to pay. That's a weird thing. That's just a thing that happens with some people, and I don't understand it.
You just reminded me that I need to make, like, now that you're saying, like, mashed potatoes and peas, you just reminded me I need to make my mom's paprika stew now that I'm feeling like this. It is so good.
That actually sounds pretty damn good.
It's like this, diced bacon, sliced what do you call it? Cocktail sausages, and then like just like a big broth of paprika and no, sorry, my mic isn't low. It's me who can't really talk much louder than this. Maybe I can beef it up a little bit. And then like some peas and that and shit. It is so fucking good and so savory. And when you make a portion, you have like fucking food for like a month.
Honestly, that sounds really close to like the like when I was a really, really little kid, when we couldn't like afford much, my mom would make like a spam stew where it was basically all of that what you mentioned. They just added like little like cubes of spam and they omitted the peas, but it's basically exactly what you mentioned, and that just made me feel really comfy and like I want some now.
That's the best. Like the best food is the one that like reminds you of home.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like the most healthy or the most fancy, but it's like you take a bite of it and you feel good.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, sure, it's probably the worst, but you ain't gonna stop me from eating it.
I don't ever think I've had spam.
It's just all it is just reconstituted ham. It is nothing special. It is just it's just a really cheap meat. But again, when you can that's all you can afford, you just learn to love the taste of it.
Then you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. Man, Rise is more white than he usually is. He looks like a He just mentioned that he's sick. Rise, are you on the internet? You always have spam.
I hate how he's right.
You know how it is. Like my favorite things to eat when playing fighting games, it's spam and button mashed potatoes.
Oh, and then you add the salt.
Oh yeah, when I get the salt, it's the best. Usually from me. But yeah. Hi everybody. We had a. Do we have any topics this week? Because like that was like my majority of my last week. What happened with you?
I don't actually know. Like a lot of like ever since our last podcast, the Discord has just exploded with like talk and trashing of NFTs, which I'm all here for. But I don't want this to turn into like a one-trick pony for that kind of stuff. So I don't think we should maybe like talk about that much more. But as for what I've been up to, Saturday there was like a Christmas party with my old place of work, which was really nice. It was a little awkward because no one really like knew like how are we gonna deal with Lasse because he's technically not employed, but we all want him back, and we all assume he's gonna come back, soon. So there was like this whole thing of like, do we talk to him like he's not a part of the company anymore, or do we talk to him as if he is, and all this stuff? So there was just like a whole like awkward thing there. And I got this like, I don't know if you ever tried this, but have you ever tried where you get drunk and like you can tell in your body that you're drunk, but your head is completely lucid. Like you're 100% like aware and in control, but your body is like, I'm slinging from left to right.
See, that was me for like the first part of like when I had that really big bender. I think you remember it was like the day after. It was like the day where I like failed my like driving test, when I tried to like, okay, what if I'm going to just intentionally get hammered and see where that takes me? And like for the first, I want to say like 10 minutes, I've experienced that where like I wasn't feeling it in my head just yet, but like I try to take a step forward and I think I double back on my knee and fall on my face.
I do remember that at one point you were just on the floor.
Yeah. I was on the floor at some point. I'm glad I don't remember what caused me to like want to call you guys about that, cuz that's not usually something I did, but I guess like drunk me was like, "Oh no, I need someone to hold me accountable. I need someone to watch this in case I do something stupid."
I remember you wanted me to record it, which I tried to do, but I was recording the wrong audio line, so I got nothing of it.
I'm kind of glad you did, because like, oh god, that was bad. But I'm glad you did.
That is some of the most uncomfortable I've ever been. I'll be 100% straight with you.
I'm never doing that ever again.
Please don't.
Well, I decided not to get drunk anymore, because nothing... Okay, so... I guess this is going to be a little personal, but like... I can't understand the mindset behind things like smoking and drinking. Cause like maybe getting high, but I've never had a chance to be high before going to the hospital or like being pranked apparently. But like, I don't see what you get out of it. Cause like when you're drunk, you just feel bad all the time. And you can't move. And I'm like, why do people do this? And I can't really understand.
I will say that for me, like I only drink stuff that I like. Like there's this weird thing people say that there's no one who actually enjoys the taste of beers. I do. Plus, like me and my dad. It sounds weird to say, but my dad got me into drinking. But he's like. He got me into like mini breweries of beer, and so he was like, "Oh, you need to try this one." And so like we will often sit down and we will enjoy a beer together from this little nowhere brewery, and we will like discuss like, "Oh, how is this tasting?" And then we'll find another one and we will compare those, and then that escalated into onto gin, and we do the same thing there. And I honestly think like that's nice. It like. My dad is a very active person. He's very, like, the man is pushing 60 and he's running a marathon damn near every day. And I'm not even exaggerating. So
Chad.
He's a fucking ultra Chad. They have, okay, real quick aside. I was at the club that he runs with. To do some work for them, like they had wanted a video recorded of their of like their club, and so I was talking with them, and my dad and I look like 1-to-1 almost. So obviously the topic ends up on my dad, and they have apparently like made a fucking legend about him, because one day he lives rather close to this club. One day he showed up, hung the fuck over in like normal clothes, and just said, I'm not really feeling running today's marathon. And they're like, you can come along onto like the next post. Like apparently they have some posts they have to get to. And so he did, and he kept on running. And again, not in any running shoes or clothes or anything. Hung the fuck over. Like they've never seen him as badly hung over as this. And he not only finishes the entire marathon, but he's the 5th best of everyone there. So he's gone down into fucking legends at that club. But anyway. So my dad is very much a Chad, and I'm this. So we don't really have a lot of things to like in common. He's trying his very best, and I love him for it, to try and understand like the graphic design stuff I do, and he's always cheering me on every time that I get to use it in like any sort of job context. And has been really supportive of it, but ultimately, we don't have a lot. So we will have these beer and gin things where we're like, oh, have you tried this? Like, I'll go out and buy a new gin, I'll taste it, and then I'll write him, oh, this will go good with this, or something like that. But also, like, I just like getting drunk for 2 different reasons. Mm-hmm. One. Was when this again. Now it's my turn to be personal. When me and my ex broke up, I was drinking almost every night. Like it wasn't like drinking myself into a stupor, but you know, I would get a boss on. I would pour some whiskey and some Coke, and then I would sit with that almost every night. Mm-hmm. And that was just because if I was 100% lucid, I would start thinking about this thing, and I didn't want that. I didn't realize later that is the bad thing to do, and I like discarded that. But the other reason is that when I get drunk, I get very loving. Like I'm typically a person with a lot of love, a lot of care for people. Even though like most people know me as Riser, who just screams and shit talks everyone. Mm-hmm. But I am like, I like to think that I am a person with a lot of love to give and a lot of care for other people. That sometimes doesn't really come out when I'm sober, but when I'm drunk, all those inhibitions are gone, and I will tell fucking everyone that I think they are the coolest person ever, that I love them, that they mean a lot to me, yada fucking yada. And it like to some people that might sound a little cringe, but afterwards I'm always just like, man, I'm feeling so glad that I got to tell this person how amazing I think they are.
Oh, it's also kind of sweet in a way, but at the same time, it's like, wow. I think that I guess there's something about like being so hammered, you kind of like drop all your inhibitions and you just say what's on your mind. I guess that's like a thing, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna do my best not to get that fucking far.
I think also, and I'm basing this off of nothing, but I also think that I'm a little more shy than you are. So, like, if I'm at a bar or something and I wanna like talk to strangers or something, obviously it's something that I've gotten better at with age, but it doesn't hurt that I got a little buzz on, because then I was like, hey, I'm thinking about, like, because I'm on a high when I'm like all this loving and shit. So I'm thinking only about all the shit that I've accomplished and not at all. And when I'm sober, it's all about like the stuff that I haven't accomplished, and then you start doubting yourself and like, So, so when I drink, I get to, yeah, like throw the Riser persona on almost, and then be like, what's good?
Actually, first off, that's like, well, the first thing I want to say, I was gonna actually like go back and talk about like my vacation, because I think that was like the last time I drank like recently, but like I think it's something very like fortunate that you have like this persona to like fall back on.
Oh yeah,
because like even though like you kind of spend so much time as like riser doing things, when you actually have to bring it out for like a social situation, you can kind of be like, oh man, this ain't me. That's just me when I'm drunk, and it's kind of you can just do it. You know, it feels good.
I think I brought it up in the podcast before, but my family is still talking about when I did the speech for my sister's wedding. And there was like a lot of good speeches at that wedding, but everyone keeps talking about mine because it apparently just was the best. And at that moment, I was just like showing up, put on the riser persona, and once you put on the riser persona, you're not afraid of like any public speaking in any sort of way. So I was like moving around, I was talking instead of, like the typical thing where you stand there with your cue card to go. And then I think that Jimmy is a very cool cool guy. Like that's not me. I'm like I actively made an effort to throw away my cue cards and then go. I wrote all these things, but I can tell I'm not gonna need them because I'm gonna talk to you guys straight from the heart. And everyone was like, "Yeah!" So,
that's how you get them. You gotta be genuine. You gotta just say what's on your mind without this formal bullshit.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I was at a job interview today, and I'm not the person who prepares for these things. It's the same thing with like school presentations. I will prepare a little, but I won't have like a straight structure. Because I feel like if you have like, oh, I need to say this, I need to say that, I need to do this, I need to do that, then you're kind of like stressing yourself out. Like, oh my god, I need to hurry up because if I don't hurry up, I won't get to say this thing. So I'm like, so when I'm doing these presentations, maybe like for my exams, for example, I would have like a little like PowerPoint presentation, and I will have a loose idea of what to talk about when, and then I will just like speak freely and like joke around and stuff, and that's what got me an A. So I guess there's something to it.
Honestly, like it also kind of like falls back to your videos when you do shit like that, because it's just, I think that like genuineness and that like with that like talking without filter kind of like makes your point a lot more solid, where you can just say it so clearly and shit like that.
I definitely feel I could do it more, but
I think you do like plenty at the moment right now. Like you've hit like 10K, and that's like no small feat. No matter how long it like took, it's still a lot.
Thank you.
In a way, you like you kind of so used to public speaking, you just speak to like thousands of people all the fucking time. Like depending on like if you put all your views together, it's still a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so you're fine. You're fine.
you were speaking about the last time you got drunk.
Well, I didn't get drunk, but like the last time I had a drink was like on the last day of my vacation during the whole shit with like American Airlines. Because when I got told my shit got canceled, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a drink and see where that goes from there, because I'm not feeling so hot. And I usually like drink like 3 things. I drink like hot sake, red wine, and gin and tonic.
You're such
and I'm
a
like,
weeb.
I am such a fucking weeb. Literally, the hot sake is just because I'm a fucking weeb.
I shouldn't touch it. I got a bottle of sake that I've unopened in my bar. So.
But like this is the first time I'm like, okay, you know what, like I'm just gonna try a cocktail, because like I remember liking the taste of curacao, and I'm like, okay, I'll just have something, I'll just grab whatever has curacao on it on their menu, and I grabbed it. It's like the most ass fucking thing I ever had in my life, and that kind of like got me. I feel like if it tasted good, I would have gotten hammered that night, and I probably wouldn't have made my call. So I think it was like a cosmic good thing that one cocktail tasted like fucking ass, and I didn't get drunk, and I stayed lucid. Because I feel like if I was hammered and I got that like that miracle flight, or like, hey, if you can make it to the airport in like 2 hours, you can get there. I definitely would have just left my like shoes in Arizona.
Didn't
just
you
gone
leave your
without
shoes
it.
in Arizona?
I almost did. I got as far as like the end of the hallway until I realized, wow, why did my shoes feel weird? And I looked down, like, oh, that's because they're not on, and I went back to get it.
Well, no,
I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, no, I feel like that. If I don't know, like ever since like that one experience where I got like super goddamn hammered, I feel like I don't enjoy being drunk or like alcohol as much anymore. Cause I like being lucid. I like being able to do shit. I'm not very, despite what you may think, I am actually a very shy individual. But at the same time, I have a lot of people who like either come up to me or like I have to be the responsible one. So I kind of just like, do what you gotta fucking do. But I don't really need alcohol for it. Although, like, I say that, but then again, I've probably never been in a situation where if I was a little buzzed, I could probably make more friends. But at the same time, I'm not looking, so it's a catch-22.
Yeah, I get that.
When you say gin and coke, my mind went to a different place. You have to put them on a fake sense of security, and that's how you shove the fork in their eyes.
That is how you make a memorable wedding. It's like, I love you, you mean the world to me, and then stab!
Glory. Sweet glory.
Right, so you tried Kinobi Kyoto Gin. I think so? Hold on, I gotta look that one up. I remember my friend Alice will constantly tease me about this. I was at a oh no, that one I haven't tried. I remember I've tried like an Asian Japanese one, but I haven't tried this one. But yeah, I remember I was at a digital gin tasting event where it was actually pretty smart. The way that they would do it was that they would send you a box of different small bottles of gin, and then all you had to make sure of was that you had like the tonics and the garnish and all this stuff. And so like they would put on a live stream, and then you would like listen into this live stream, and they would like talk about these smaller breweries and the history of gin and all this stuff, you know, like make a presentation about it. And then the entire point of the sizes of these bottles were meant for two. I was alone.
Oh no.
And I tend to like my gin a little on the stronger side, so I don't put as much tonic in as other people normally do. So I got fucked up. I got real bad fucked up. And so I originally had like this plan, and this was even before like I got drunk, because I remember this was right after the Made in Abyss video.
Oh boy.
So I was like, I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna fire up a live stream, and I wanna just talk to these fucking cunts in my comment section. I would put out an open invite for people to get in here, and then they can catch these hands, and we can like talk about what I've said and what I haven't said. That didn't happen, because at one point, I was in a call with Alice and Zach. At one point, I was like, yeah, I'll be right back, I need to hit the bathroom. And then I went to the bathroom, and then I was like, well, oh, the floor is so warm. And then I laid on the floor. Then I vomited, and then I passed out. Then I was laying on that floor for like 2 hours. And then I came back, turned off the microphone and camera, and then I went to bed. And then I woke up like 5 hours later, and I'm like, so that happened. How you guys doing?
Zach and I were left alone awkwardly for like an hour going, so how about that weather?
Yeah, because those two cunts came in exclusively just to like laugh at me as I got more and more shit-faced.
Something about like floors being warm and being plastered just go hand in hand. You don't realize how light, nice, and comforting the floor is until you're fucking wasted out of your mind.
I remember, like, legit, as a kid, if I was, like, sick, one of my favorite things to do was to grab 2 dry towels, and one I would roll into, like, a little pillow, and then I would drape the other towel over me, and I would legit go and take a nap on the bathroom floor, and this was at the age of 5 or 6 or something.
Right.
My mom would kick my ass for that. They're like, "No, you're fucking up your back! Go to bed!"
Oh my god.
Speaking of, like, that whole thing about being sick, I wanted to circle back on that a little bit, because you mentioned how you had the Destroyer of Worlds, the little dog. Who is oh so brave. So I used to have, like, this little dog, and for those of you who watched my real old videos, like season 1 and stuff, he was in those. He was a little dwarf schnauzer. His name was Oscar.
Oscar.
And he was, again, like a dwarf schnauzer, so he was, like, tiny. And he did not know that he was tiny. And so, like, he was very protective. I remember, like, whenever I was sick, or anyone in the house was sick, he would come in and he would lay at the foot of the door on your side of the room. So, like, if anyone had to go into the room, they would have to pass by him. So, so obviously, like, no one was really, scared of him, because he's a little shit. But, like, it was just, like, his way of protecting anyone, because in case, like, he knew that, my owner is weak, so in case anyone comes, I'm gonna scare them away. And luckily no one ever came, but he would do this with everyone whenever they were sick. Every time, without fail, he would go and he would lay at the foot of the door and protect, which was adorable as shit. But like I said, he had no idea how tiny he was. So when I lived with my parents, where we had the dog, we lived near the ocean, near the beach. And so whenever I would go with him for a walk, I would typically walk down to the beach and, like, walk along the water. And there was a lot of seagulls. And the funniest thing is that apparently Oscar just hated these fucking seagulls. And he would bark at them and growl at them and chase them around. Probably, like, maybe for, just to play with them or something. But I remember one time where I had him on a leash, and he just, like, chased this fucking seagull.
Oh, man.
And this seagull got enough of my dog's shit. And it fucking, like, I just see how this thing is, like, going over him and, like, covering him with its wings. And then all of a sudden, I just start seeing this little bowl of feathers go upwards. And my dog is in that ball of feathers. This seagull is flying away with my fucking dog.
You fucker!
Luckily, he's on a leash. So I'm, like, running over there, and, like, the moment I can tell, okay, I'm enough under it, I yoink at the leash, and I grab my dog, and we're like, yeah, okay, you're never gonna do that again.
Oh, seagulls are assholes.
Yeah,
fuck them.
I miss Rise's season 1 room. It's small, but I had a good vibe from it. I fucking hated recording in there. Because every time, like... what was that?
I was just going to say bitch-ass sky tilapia. Go ahead.
Bitch-ass sky tilapia? What is that?
That's what a seagull is. A bitch-ass sky tilapia.
Okay. Man, I fucking hated recording in that room. It was like, what you saw in the video is essentially how big that room was. It was so small that I could lean back in my chair, fall over, and I would land in my bed. And that would be like basically what I had in there. Also just because like every time that I had to record, I had to make my bed. And who the fuck actually makes their bed? Except for psychopaths. Do you make your bed?
Only when I'm in a really good mood.
I only do it if I have like company over. But other than that fucking duvet is gonna stay exactly where I left it when I stepped out of bed that morning. I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Like if I've like cleaned my sheets, like they're like halfway through the month, I'll make my bed to keep it nice and clean. But after a while, like it kind of just deforms back into the nest.
Back to it. I make my bed before taking a shower so I can lay down.
And now it's clear why Cloudy discases our suggestion and Riser, who actually makes their bed, are friends. Animals, both of you.
Do you have any like habits in like your day-to-day life where you are like where you can go, okay, maybe this isn't like the smartest thing in the world?
I like briefly touched upon it, but like there are days when like if I can't sleep immediately, my body kind of like convulses. This was a really bad problem where like in the mornings I would wake up off my bed because I would just fall out of it all the time, to the point where like the impact from the floor doesn't even bother me anymore.
What the fuck?
That was like, it's a little better. My body's done a different thing now. So I always make sure like my bed is facing a wall. And when I'm sleeping and tossing and turning, I kind of like devolve into this thing I call the nest, which is just this pile of blankets and pillows in a giant fucking bundle. And I'm kind of like in the middle of it. And somehow I can sleep well in that. And I don't think that's particularly healthy, but that's something my body does. So whatever.
I remember my best friend, love him to bits. He's a fucking idiot sometimes. He used to, like, before he would go to bed, he would put on deodorant. And I'm like, fucking why? You shower in the morning. And that's what you're supposed to. Fuck that! No, I refuse to believe it. Like, what any fuck? It clogs the pores.
So you don't sweat on your clothes. So you don't sweat on your bed.
That's what it's for. Like, okay, maybe I'm the fucking crazy one, because what I do is I wake up, I take a shower, and then I put on the anti-sweat thingy.
Anti-perspirant.
Yeah, perspirant. Okay, that's how you say it. And then I put on cologne. And that way, when I walk out, I smell nice. But why would you put the fucking smell nice thing on when you go to bed and you sweat and then you go take a shower afterwards? Then you only smell good while you're in bed.
Well, like, the deodorant is what it is. They kind of just use it for the anti-perspirant. They don't put cologne in bed. It's just you only put it on so you don't sweat in your sheets, which I can kind of understand.
Yeah, I guess.
Again, like I'm also like a night shower person. Because that's just kind of how I grew up. Where it's like you put on your shampoo, your conditioner, your soap. You fucking go to bed squeaky ass clean and dry, and the sheets are good. And then after a while, it's just like bleh.
Hey, Cloudy, why don't you tell me a little bit more about using conditioner and shampoo? Tell me a little more about that.
I'm still trying to figure it out, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I only recently understood that like guys can have like a cleansing routine, and I'm still trying to find one for myself because I'm a fucking mess.
Oh, I'm fully like I'm fully in there if you want to use like cleanliness products or anything like that on yourself. I'm very much of a thing like, hey, smell good, king. But it was more like a joke about the whole thing of like me, like why would I ever use shampoo? I don't have any hair to put it in.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, listen. There are times where my brain makes the disconnect that you're bald by choice, so I kind of just forget that's a thing.
Oh, it's not by choice. Oh, well, it's a little bit by choice. So, yeah. At the age of 15 or something, I started losing my hair, and I got like these really high temples, and so if I had long hair, then there would just be like this part of my temples where like there was nothing, so it looked like trash. And so I started like just buzzing it down and shaving my head. So and since then it has only gotten worse. So it still grows, but very, very slowly, and then I just trim it down. So yeah, I would basically look like Vegeta, and I'm not even fucking kidding. That fucking W in my fucking forehead was tragic, bro.
Oh man, you had like multiple widow's peaks. I am sorry.
I remember I used to take the maddest piss on my math teacher because he was a very old school teacher. So he would, like, every time that I would show up for class and we would have him in the morning, he would give me shit because I was the type of guy I would never do my hair in the morning because I would go and shower in the evening, so I wouldn't shower in the morning. Because like the time I saved on not doing my hair was time I could spend in bed. Like that was how I was wired. So I would always show up with the worst bed hair. And so he would constantly just tell me, Lasse, I'm not gonna have a fucking class with you before you do something about your hair. So he would send me to the bathroom so I could like adjust it. And so that would happen again and again and again. And so one day I finally decided it was time for me to shave my head. And so I did that and I wore a cap the next day. And at this point it had become such a normal thing for my math teacher that he didn't even have to look. He would just go, Lasse, go and fix your fucking hair. And so this time I was like, oh, boss man, I already did. And I pulled off my cap to reveal my bald head. And you can fucking tell this man is shitting his entire fucking ass. Because in his mind, he's going, did I seriously tease this fucking kid to the point where he had a nervous breakdown and shaved his entire goddamn head? So that was great.
I'm like, it's like morbid, but in a kind of funny way. Because it's like it was entirely your turn. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need this shit anymore. Like this is it'll just make my life so much easier. And then you come into class and he's like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
But yeah, like I'm. There are times where I like wish I could grow some hair, just because like whenever I see someone with a really cool haircut or something, I'm like, goddamn. But like at this point, I just like embrace the fact that I'm bald and I'll be bald until the day I die.
I mean, you look really fucking good, though. Let's be real here.
Thanks, bro. By the way, when you shower... Oh, sorry. Did you have anything?
No. I was about to read that. You go ahead. You get to it.
By the way, when you shower, where do you start? Because apparently, I'm on the minority of those who starts from the head... when most people start from the genitals, which is the dumbest thing ever. You're practically rubbing your balls all over your body.
You know, Bunny, I have the same mindset. What the fuck?
I'm the same. Like I go in there, I get wet, you know, like take some time just to enjoy the warm water, wash my limbs, my legs, and all this stuff, my neck. Then I start adding the The thing that I love that we men have, like we have that shampoo that is like 10 things in one. Like it's for your ass crack, it's for your hair, it's for your eyebrows. You can put it on your cornflakes. You can start a car with it. It can fucking do anything. And then I add that to head and armpits and crotch, and then like the crotch is always the last thing.
Yeah. You wanna like I guess we're just talking about bathing habits here. Everybody remember to wash your fucking nuts, but like it's kind of just like you do your head, then I do shampoo first, then soap, then like scrub everything down as hard as I can, then like I rinse everything off, and then I do conditioner, then like whatever else I need to do, like shaving, I guess, if I'm doing it that time. But even then, it's like, remember to wash your nose. The title of this podcast episode, I'm calling it.
Okay.
Probably not. We already had one nut related title last week.
We did. We should probably also be careful about that because I don't think the algorithm likes it.
Well, I like it. I thought it was funny.
Okay, so I loved it too. So about the old shower thing. In America, or at least at your school, did you have like swimming classes as a part of your class schedule?
Actually, no. So like this is weird because so I live in Massachusetts. It's a cold place sometimes. Do you think Massachusetts schools are rich enough to afford pros? Well, actually, no, we should be. We have like the best colleges and universities in America. But besides that shit, the elementary school I went to actually did have a pool, but they like forbade anybody from going into it to the point where they actually like locked off they actually like built around where the doors would be with like drywall, so nobody could get into the pool, and they kind of just used it as like a makeshift storage area. So like I think there's like some sort of like lawsuit thing going on where like we don't want kids swimming in schools, otherwise like they could drown or get hurt, and then that's a lawsuit against the school. So no, we don't have swimming classes, at least in like my area.
Okay. But we used to, and my swimming instructor or teacher, whatever you want to call it, he was a former like elite military guy. Okay. Like he was a fucking out there. And to his credit, he was really like he understood how to like give information and teach people. Like for example, when you're shivering because you're cold. Mm-hmm. He taught us this trick, and it's fucking weird, but he taught us this trick to deal with that. Like when so obviously you go take a shower and then you hit the pool. That's so we would obviously be wet, and before we had to go into the water, we would sit and wait for everyone to get ready. So obviously you would sit there and you would get cold, and so he was just like, if you're shivering like this, then like literally just relax. You're feeling cold because you're shivering, so stop shivering and you won't feel cold. It was like this fucking weird thing, like, but
mind over matter bullshit. I get it.
Yeah, and it fucking worked. That was the weirdest thing. But the reason why I want to bring him up is because me and my best friend at the time, we had this thing where we would always be the last people, and again, this was at a very, very, very young age. Mm-hmm. We would be the last ones out of the shower because, I don't know, we sucked at drying ourselves off with a towel. Like, like when you're a little fucking poo baby bitch, it's even a fucking wonder when you can like close one eye and not the other. Like, your motor skills leave a lot to be desired. And so this guy comes in and he's like, so the way you dry your ass with a towel is that you hold out the towel behind you, like, and you spread out your arms, and then you just shake your hips from side to side. So, like, and that way you dry your ass. And so we would do that. And I'm like, okay, I guess it works.
Mm.
And I'm not making this fucking shit up. A year later, the man gets arrested for pedophilia.
I remember. I was about to say that's a bit kind of sus. Instructing kids on how to wash themselves.
It was 100% like normal at the time, at least, for a teacher to go of the same gender to go into the shower rooms to make sure that everyone is getting showered, everyone is like, no one is beating up on a kid or anything. So that was like the most normal thing. But like, looking back in hindsight, you can absolutely tell like this dude had some fucking ulterior motives for having us dry our backsides like that.
So I think that I didn't want to bring it up, but that's kind of like the other reason why we don't have child swimming classes anymore. So, oof. Too much opportunity for that kind of shit.
Yeah. I realized I can tell like this is one of those podcasts where we're just gonna go all over the fucking place. Did I ever tell you about the time where I found out that my friend's mother was a prostitute?
I don't think you've told me this story before.
Okay, because it's fucking funny. So
Right,
in my class at that school, the same school with the pedo guy, we were 3 people in my class called Lasse, which is actually where my nickname Riser comes from, because we had to find nicknames to differentiate between these 3 Lasses. So there was Lasse A, Lasse J, and Lasse R, which was me. And then like that became like I ended up being called Rice Cake.
Rice Cake.
Because my last name Ries is the way that we say rice in Danish. And so it was like the Danish rice cake, and then it turned into English rice cake. And then during one time in class where one of my friends had to address me for something, and we had to speak English, he was about to call me Rice Cake, and then he kind of fucked it up. So like rice, then it was like everyone in class just went, "Oh, that sounds good." So like from that rice, yeah. So it's actually rice, but yeah, then I changed it a little bit. Anyway, that's a completely different story. So I remember, I'm probably 22 years old or something. I've sat down, I'm eating my cornflakes. It's summer, the sun is shining, I'm about to head to work, and I'm just like thinking back on like that time of my life. And I remember my friend Lasse A, who was a really cool guy. And I remember like, it was always so weird going home to him, because his mom was super fucking chill, but we could never stay over like for longer periods of time. And there were certain times where he just would come by my place, because we lived somewhat close, completely unannounced. And it was like, okay. And oftentimes, like, the mom would come by and she would be like, "Oh yeah, you guys, here's some money, go get an ice cream, and you can't come back until the big arrow points to this and the small arrow points to this on your clocks, yada fucking yada." And there would always be these times where like we would see a lot of different dudes at this place, and I always just thought like, oh, he's very close to his family. And I remember one time, because he lived pretty close to the school, so one time we went there after class, like in between classes, and we went into her bedroom, and she had like a water bed, and I remember she had all these cool lightsabers and shit that we would like fucking fence with.
Lightsabers, right?
And then like I legit thought that she was like a cop or something, because she also had handcuffs. And like as I'm thinking this shit, again at an age of 22, 23, I don't fucking recall, I'm eating my cornflakes, and the fucking spoon just goes, oh my fucking god, she was a prostitute.
You know, as you're going through the story again, I think you might have told this on like a charity stream, but like I barely recalled it, and then you mentioned the lightsaber, and then we're like, oh.
Yeah, so that was fun. Again, she was a fucking lovely person, and so was this other guy. It was just like it was just one of those things where like, now everything makes sense.
Don't you love it when everything just falls into place like that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Simply beautiful. God, I'm trying to think if I have any stories like that, but no, I don't have anything that comes close. Fucking hell. I'm just like, there's like a very beautiful time in the child's life where they can see a dildo and it's like, oh my god, it's a lightsaber! Why is it floppy? What's with this weird head on the top? Oh well, it's multicolored. Let's fence!
It needs a new crystal or whatever they use in Star Wars.
They need a new crystal.
I don't know anything about Star Wars. I'm a fucking weirdo like that. I don't care about that shit at all.
Okay, here's my confession. I've never cognitively seen a single Star Wars movie. Like, I've seen like parts of every single movie, but I've never seen a single Star Wars to the end, and never like digested what the shit was about. So I have like no attachment to this series at all.
I know that people. So remember how you and I we have like you have Warhammer people, and I have Smash people, and how we kind of have some prejudice attached to those people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So obviously there are cases that are not bad.
Yeah, of course.
I have that with Star Wars people as well. Which is that some of these people are fucking crazy. Like, I remember watching that. I don't even recall. It's the second one of the new ones, and there's this fucking scene where Finn, I think his name is, which is like that ex-stormtrooper guy. He's about to fly straight into this super beam cannon because this super beam cannon is about to blow down a door to the resistance, and so he's going to fly this plane into the beam cannon to save his friends. And so there's like this moment where he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna save them, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for them, and like the music's going and then there's some fucking cunt, at least in, so I need to stress, cunt in the movie, the actor probably really nice, and I'm gonna get back to that. She fucking like, what do you call it in English when you like when a car it T-bones? Where you like
when you hit them like for like one's on the front end hitting the side, that's a T-bone.
Yeah, okay. So she flies and T-bones Finn and thus saves him, I guess. But this, of course, means that the big death gun thingy here shoots the door down, and the evil Empire can then storm the people and kill a bunch of resistance people. And like, as this whole thing is going on, this Rose, I think her name is like, oh, Finn, I saved you, and she kisses him, and he's just like in fucking shell shock, like, what the fuck did you just do? And it's like, one, how the fuck did you know that he was gonna survive that? And two, why? And it's apparently just because she was in love with the dude. And so this leads to the laser beam exploding and everyone fucking die. Well, a lot of people dying. So and yeah, it was not the smartest move, but it's one of those things where you do it in a movie because drama. Apparently, the actor who played this character got fucking haunted online.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I remember.
She got basically bullied off of the fucking internet, and the dumbest part is that she was just acting out a role. If you have any beef with what happened, you need to go and find the fucking screenwriter or the director or something like that. But no, like
they went after like the actor for the dumb shit written in the movie, and I'm like, yeah, no, Star Wars people don't deserve rights at a certain point.
No,
real.
Like, and I know for a fact that you and I, we both like interacted with these people who are like Ren stands or whatever the fuck.
Ray Lowe, I believe, is the term we're thinking of. The ones who will like go out of their way to attack people for a fucking ship, which is dumb as all fucking hell.
I do understand why people enjoy Star Wars. I legit do, and I don't think I will ever like discredit anyone for liking it. But it's also one of those things where it's like you gotta understand that it is like, how do I? This is not meant to be like an insult or something. It is rather juvenile adventure in the same way that Indiana Jones is juvenile adventure. It's one of those things where you kind of like turn your brain off and just fucking enjoy the wacky antics, the cool effects, the nice stunts, the colorful characters. Enjoy all that shit. So, but then when I go, hey, the fucking General Grievous, who's like 99% robot because apparently he's just been replacing his human components for centuries, and he has a weird cough. Why the fuck did they not just fix his lungs? When I ask that question, don't fucking come at me. It's just like, why is this a thing? Like, that's how my brain operates, and we've already established many times before. Like, it's not necessarily the right way for it to operate. I just can't turn that shit off.
No, Lasse, you see, like, it makes total sense that the steampunk race have nano machines in their blood to transform the animal ostrich things.
Oh my fucking god.
I'm just like, okay, so I am the kind of person who, like, if you want to invest your time into something juvenile or not, if it brings out a passion and thought-provoking, like, questions for you, that's fine. I always draw the line where you start, like, going on like fucking crusades over some shit that doesn't matter to the people who even made the fucking story themselves.
Yeah.
I can say, because the only Star Wars thing I saw to the end was like the cartoon series that Genndy Tartakovsky made. You know, the guy who made Samurai Jack.
Oh yeah, Clone Wars.
Like that version of the Clone Wars was like the coolest fucking shit. Because that was like the only time General Grievous looked scary. I think he like on screen kills like 4 Jedi and steals their fucking lightsabers.
Yeah, apparently that's his entire thing.
That is his entire thing. And you don't see shit like that in the movies or in the Clone Wars, like CG, I think? I don't know. I didn't care for any of that, to be honest with you. Like, that would have been cool. And like, I wish more cool shit would happen like that. But when you go into Star Wars and you get people so invested that they put the sake of the story and whatever the headcanons they have over like people's right to exist, I have my big issue with that. Like, you stop. You like when you like the whole thing with like the Rose's actor thing, that whole bullshit that happened. Like, she didn't deserve any of the bullshit. No matter how much you hated her fucking character, you don't bring that to the actress. That's just like common fucking sense. But if you can't like separate that from reality, you deserve to be mocked on and shat on because you're way out of line. Hell yeah, Clone Wars was the shit. It was the best thing to come out of Star Wars. There's like 3 things labeled Clone Wars to my knowledge, so I try to be very careful about it. I don't fucking get it.
Again, like I'm gonna let people. Oh fuck! What the fuck did I just do? I'm gonna let people enjoy what they want to enjoy, but Yeah, and I think like I know that I started out saying that we're not gonna talk about NFTs, but it kind of like circles into that again. You
I
can
want to talk about that.
you can enjoy whatever the fuck you want to enjoy. I think that's cool. That's fine. The moment where it gets a little iffy is when you're trying to force that onto me. And like that was the case with NFTs. If you like NFTs, if you think they're great, there's an argument to be made about like the whole climate situation thing with it. But like, if that is your prerogative, then you go right the fuck ahead. But don't get angry at me if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like I've been pushing Final Fantasy 14 to a lot of different people ever since I really got into it. And if you don't like Final Fantasy 14, I am like, fair enough. Did you give it a shot? You did. I have nothing like that's fine. And I think that's especially easy for me because, hey, one of my favorite things is Metal Gear. That is one of the hardest things in the world to fucking recommend to people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I never understood this whole thing of, like, forcing people to like a thing that, like, even if they make it very clear that they have no interest in it, like, oh, but you have to, and like, fuck off.
I ain't gotta do fucking shit. It shouldn't be that hard, you know?
People are fucking weird. Right, so you don't like nice fucking... I love me some nice fucking tits. Speaking of NFTs, I'm just gonna throw it up on the stream right now. Cloudy, have you seen that Jerry June has made a Riser NFT?
I said I saw that he was going to make one. I didn't know it was finished.
He has in fact completed it, and I think that he hit the nail on the head because like any NFT that I have seen, it is the most disgusting, apprehensible thing that I have ever fucking seen in my entire fucking life. Like, okay, while you're having your fit, I think I mentioned it to you before. If I had the financial capacity to like make scholarships or something, there's a lot of different. There's a few people in the webcam relief community I would love to give that to, just because like I can fucking tell that there is some absolute goddamn passion, love, care, and drive behind these people, and one of those people is Jerry June. He never fucking disappoints. I am blown away by his art skills again and again. He's made some fucking amazing pieces, so of me. And so the fact that he can go and he can make something really, really like great, and then make fucking this, that is fucking rage, my guy.
I know. Like, I guess when you're good at art, it's very easy to make something pretty fucking awful. Because it's just like dialing back what you're good at.
That's true.
I'm just like, I love that, like, we talked about NFTs last week. Because, like, it kind of just... It's like, as soon as we uploaded that podcast, shit just, like, snowballed out of effect. I think it was, like, on that Friday when, like, the government decided, hey, we're gonna start taxing you on these things now, and everyone lost their fucking minds.
Is it... Okay, so help me out here. Is it not if the NFT in question is worth more than $10,000?
That is around the idea, yeah, but yeah. But essentially, like, even if you do that, you still have to, like, put it on your taxes. Like something happens where you get investigated if it's like 10K, but like you still have to put your NFT on your taxes, even if you pay like $1 for it, because that's still income you're making because it's being treated as an asset. Asset income means like the government needs to know about that money you're making. It's like they're still trying to fine tune the rules. But the idea is, like, if you make over a certain amount on an NFT alone, government's going to be coming down your door for like, your money. And you're going to have to start, like, saying, like, hey, I made this much off my NFT. Just because, like, the door's been open for, like, the big stuff, going down the line, like, people are going to have to put this on their taxes. And because it's still income at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, if you buy an art painting for, like, a sizable amount of money, you can put that on as, like, your put that down as, like, an asset for your other things. God, I did taxes for as a job, and I'm forgetting all my words and shit. Point is, this is, like, the first step to, like, killing it, because if you were just treating NFTs as, like, you know, like, what people are saying NFTs are for, like, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna sell this for, like, hold on to it for a while, wait for it to grow in value, and then sell it off later, like, you have no issue. The issue comes with like, the people who are selling NFTs as, like, a rug pull scam, who are just trying to get as much Bitcoin as possible, selling, like, centralize all these little NFTs, and then you know, running off with the fucking money. That's where all the fucking scare is, because all those people making a lot of money off of these fucking digital coins and shit realize they can't put up with this scam anymore. Crazy, ain't it?
It is still, like, the weirdest fucking thing to we talked about since last time about, like, how at its core NFTs just, like, it is so fucking like, it doesn't work, because, like, all these people are always putting up on Twitter or something like, hey, you can get this NFT for just so many Ethereum or yada yada yada. And then they get pissed if you right click them or whatever the fuck. And that's not, like, that's neither here nor there. But the fact of the matter is that they do not want you to acquire the image unless, like, it's through a transaction. But the problem is that by them just uploading this image onto Twitter and me seeing it, I have now automatically downloaded it, because that is what a cache does on your computer. Every image that you have ever seen online has at some point been downloaded to your computer. Meaning that every time that you see an NFT, even these people who are so vehemently against people just right-clicking and saving the images, they too are just downloading the images. So it is flawed at its very fucking core, and I think that is fucking hilarious.
I think, like, nothing, like, proves how idiotic this whole thing is until you, like, realize that one person who got flagged for, like, copyright infringement.
Oh, that was the funniest shit.
That was the funniest fucking shit.
Please tell the story.
So, I'm actually gonna, like, go into the Wild West and pull this up just because it was so fucking... Oh, it was tasty. So there was this, like, person basically drawing a picture of their, like, fox person. And the person's, like, an NFT is like, oh dear, I'm gonna just take this. This is so pretty. I'm an NFT account. You guys like to right click. I'll just right click this, and you can't do shit about it. And then they start posting their art, and like so this NFT account steals this artist's work, and is like, hey, this is my new fox character. Isn't it great? And then the original artist slowly walked up to them, went to Twitter, and went like, hey, this is copyright infringement. And their shit got taken down like that.
It's and the almost like copyright fucking works.
It's almost like copyright's a thing when you're trying to, like, sell your digital assets. So, and these people are, like, surprise Pikachu face. They have no idea what the fuck to do about this. It's like, what the fuck? This is some liberal bullshit. And I'm like, y'all people retarded. Y'all people very stupid. I know I wasn't supposed to use the R word, but I'm like, I can't think of a better word. No, how do you think you can get away with this? How are you so goddamn arrogant? Like, it's like that thing you talked about before. It's like NFTs inherently don't have a copyright protection on top of that. They do nothing to protect the original artist. And it's like, that's a core problem with NFTs. You can share and copy your NFT, that shit ain't protected. But like, you try to make an NFT out of something that's immediately, fuck you, you can't do that. Lasse doing his best DSP impression right there. I don't even know what I did for the DSP impression, but it just came out of me because I'm just flabbergasted. Like, you right click on an image, fucked around and found out.
Yeah, I brought it up before, but I love how everyone has just been like, dude, if you just go into NFTs, you're gonna become a millionaire. It is so fucking easy. It's such a lucrative market. Just buy some NFTs and you're gonna become like super rich like that. And I'm just like, you know what? Ever since this whole fucking craze, I think I've seen one person sell like an NFT for a lot of money. And he was already a fucking massive artist, like digital artist. I have not seen any increase in rich artists at all. And obviously I'm not the fucking like guru of this, but I do follow a ton of different varying artists around the world. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like I'm an unlikely person to hear about these sort of things. But to move away from NFT, because we did say that we weren't going to talk anymore about it, Al is asking if, I guess it's for both of us, if we have seen the League of Legends animated series that is out now. Or have you heard about it?
I have heard about it. Like, I have a friend of mine who's actually still really into, like, League of Legends, and she wanted to watch it with me as soon as I got a chance. So I might do that this week, and I might have something to talk about.
I want to see it. I've always maintained that the coolest thing about League of Legends is everything that is not the game. The characters, the designs, the cosplays, even the fucking music they made. It's like fucking fire.
Music. The music videos attached to them, like the fucking like music video for I forget the name of the song, but All Stars.
No,
that
Pop
shit
Stars.
like was Pop Stars. Sorry. Listen. But like the music video of that was fucking revolutionary as shit.
Yeah, everyone wanted that fucking face mask that the chick wore that like moved like in demon form through the neon. It was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah. So like, the animation team for Riot is insane. I'm super glad that they're releasing an anime series. You'd think they would have by this point.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So they're also working on a fighting game, which is what I'm really excited for, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because again, I look at League of Legends, and I've been like hovering my mouse over like the download button several times until I remember it's a MOBA, and every muscle in my body just recoils when I think about a MOBA. And also I think of the community, and then I just want to fucking shoot myself in the mouth. So, like, if I can get my fix of League of Legends, but in fighting games, then I am fucking primed and ready, because there are some good fucking characters in that series that you can put in a fighting game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, real quick. Alice is pointing out we played Smite once. Alice at one point was like, hey, the Avatar, The Last Airbender came out for Smite. So do you guys want to try it? And so we had one match, counted, one match. Throughout the entire game, So we were 3 people. We were Sebastian, Alice, and I. And then a team is made out of 4, so we had a 4th one. Throughout the entire fucking thing, he was shit-talking and coming at me like I had murdered his dog. He was so fucking angry with me with fucking everything. And again, I have just beaten the tutorial. I don't fucking know how this game is played. And he is out for fucking blood. I don't think that after that I was like, do any of you guys want to see me live stream me uninstalling this fucking game? Because I was so fucking angry with it. Like, I was doing my best. Like, given I don't know my nuts from my elbow when it comes to these things, but I was doing my best.
I was just spamming. If you can't beat the spam, I don't know what to tell you. I was just making button mashed potatoes, and you had to get salty.
Yeah.
I already removed all chat from the game a few weeks ago. That's amazing. Why did they do that years ago?
I don't know. The rest of us weren't doing much better either. We all sucked. Yeah, we all sucked. But he just saw Crownless King. Fuck this kid. He had it out for me specifically. And it was I was like hurt. I was like, Jesus. I've been on the receiving end for some fucking flag over my YouTube career, but this was fucking vile.
I'm glad I've never played any games like these. I think like my one experience with like LOL was my brother has to leave to like take care of something, and he makes me sit at his computer and do stuff. I have no idea what the fuck to play, so I'm kind of just clicking around spitting random skills and shit. And then like my brother comes back and he's like,
"This is the best build I've ever seen in my life."
It was the worst fucking thing he's ever seen. He's like, I was gone for 5 minutes. What the fuck did you do? And I'm like, I don't know.
Lol, I don't know.
He was like diamond or some shit.
Oh my God.
Ranked. I can't afford to play shit like this. Like, I do not have the constitution. I do not have the heart, the will to continue living, watching this shit go on. I don't thank you. I'm good.
I remember I would often have my friend over, and so like typically the way that it would go is that I would play on my consoles, and he would play on the PC, and if I was on the PC, he would play on the consoles. So we would both be playing something, and then we would like talk in between each other while we were doing the thing, and we still do that to this day. And so he would play League of Legends, and this was actually at the time where I was living in that little fucking room that we were talking about earlier, and on the other side of that wall is my parents, my mom and stepdad's bedroom, and so one time. I don't recall who said it or what exactly they said, but my mom sees me the next morning and she just repeats ad nauseum, "My life for fire, my life for fire, my life for fire," because that's apparently the thing that the character says whenever you like click him or move him somewhere or something. And so apparently she'd been listening to that all night as my friend was playing this shit. And I obviously hadn't registered it because I was playing my own shit. So she got real angry with me for playing that. And she actually asked us, "I'm fine with you playing whatever the fuck else. Just please don't play this shit." So even my mom is against League of Legends. It may have been Dota, I'm not sure. I have the will. I've been playing Team Fortress 2 for years, and every lobby in that has guaranteed one extremely sexual furry, one Nazi, one commie, and Pablo Gonzalez 2006 who has him voice commands button taped down and is emitting a steady stream of static.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate from my experience with TF2.
I fucking.
They're not exactly toxic. They're just extreme chaotic.
I remember when the Xbox One first came out, and it was at the time where you had to always have your Connect on, otherwise the Xbox would just straight up not work. And
yeah, I remember that awful business decision.
It wasn't great, and there was a fucking microphone in that, and there were several times where I was jumping online playing Killer Instinct, and you could hear the dude that you were fighting on the other side, and you could hear your game reverb through like his microphone. But you could also hear a fucking baby crying in the background. And it's like, is it really that important that you ultra me, that you can't even go and look? That you can't even go and take care of your fucking child? What the fuck?
Excuse me, I just got... No, watch me, Johnny Jr. Watch me as I beat this small Danish man.
Yeah, that was until I got agonized and I was fucking cleaning house.
Oh God, bless you, man. I like him. Big stone guy.
He's like, Alice and I was talking about this the other day. I thoroughly believe that Killer Instinct, as like in terms of presentation, like in music and character designs and all this shit, is probably one of the best things ever.
Oh yeah.
There's not a single fucking character in that game, maybe one, that is not the coolest fucking thing ever. There is not a theme in that game that is not the coolest fucking thing ever. Everything about that game is just fucking insane. Like, how the fuck do you come up with the idea that, a rock golem, and he puts down walls so you can't run away from him? But if you do manage to run away from him, he can grab that fucking wall and slap the piss out of you with it.
You think you're out of my range? Guess what, bitch?
And then
it's tripled.
Fucking wall. Like, goddamn, that shit was so good.
Argonos is like the coolest heavy character I've seen in any fighting game.
He is. And even like boxes in these kinds of games are typically the most boring fucking thing. But then they make TJ Combo with, let's be real, the greatest piece of music ever created. I'm Back to Rise by Omega Sparks playing in the background, and he's just a fucking beast. I legit believe that I'm Back to Rise is one of the greatest pieces of music in video games, because it tells the entire story and character of TJ Combo in the sickest, coolest rap that you ever fucking heard.
It doesn't just combo your opponent, but it combos your soul.
Yeah, it combos your soul.
I need to I should download it and like play a couple rounds just because it's so fun.
Just remember that it's only for PC, Xbox.
Sorry, what?
It's only for PC and Xbox.
I have a PC.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
Actually, like my dad has like an Xbox in Puerto Rico, which he brought with him. I should probably download it on that too.
It's actually a pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's actually a pretty good single player in it now. They patched one in where it's like you go around on missions, kind of like XCOM style, where like, here there's enemies, and then you beat them, and then you get like resources that you can use to upgrade your fighters and shit. It was actually pretty interesting.
Ooh.
And then it all culminates with you fighting the Gargos at the end, or
Big
Idol
boss man.
He was so fucking cool. Like he legit did the fucking aura, but through portals.
Oh Jesus!
Is that not the coolest fucking thing ever? Like beating your shit from over here.
I don't need to approach you. I'm just gonna fucking kill you from over here.
Imagine if Dio had that. Like, you're approaching me. Psych!
I can't kick your ass without getting closer. Funny, I can,
bitch.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Cloudy, do we have any letters today?
Yes. We actually have a lot, thankfully.
Great.
But you can send your letters today at webcastrelief@gmail.com.
So if people want to talk about how the one time they found out that one of their childhood friends' mom was actually a prostitute, they can do so at webcastrelief@gmail.com.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I got like plenty to choose from. Okay, I'm gonna grab the questions from our friend Jerry June. Actually, they came up with 3. Oh, okay. So first one is Mariah Carey has breached containment. What do you do? The lady who sings "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Put her in guilty gear.
Put her in.
I don't know why, but people made a fucking meme earlier this month about Mariah Carey is breaching containment because she's going to show up in guilty gear, and people even drew like a portrait of her as if she was the next part of the season pass roster. And I get the guilty gear is very hard rooted in music, but fucking Mariah Carey.
Do you really put it past him to put her in though?
Of Daisuke Ishiwatari? Fucking no.
Yeah. I would fully believe if anyone could find a way to put Mariah Carey as like a fighter in their game, it would be Daisuke Iwatari.
I want a heavenly Potemkin buster Mariah Carey.
God, like I mean, like my answer would have been the boring one and just like, throw her off the roof. But no, actually, just banishing her into guilty gear would be the best fucking thing ever.
So
oh God,
I actually don't have anything against Mariah Carey. I've when it comes to Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You is not the worst one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I think like the one by Bono is the one I hate the most.
Which one is that?
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
Oh right, yeah. Oh, that was the one with the fucking like the war song or something.
Yeah. War, starving kids in Africa, shit like that.
I think my least favorite one, I think it's Paul McCartney who made it. Simply having one of the Christmas time. And I fucking hate it because it like if there's one thing that you should always have in music, it's rhythm. And so it's like simply as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Happy Christmas time. Like, oh, well, Merry Christmas time, I even think it is. So it's like, they just, like, they have 2 syllables, and they've crammed 6 syllables into that. It's like, when the fuck? And it just sounds so fucking ass.
It's very fast, very new, very painful.
It's not what is your favorite Christmas song, though?
Oh, okay, so it is actually, ironically enough, it is Mariah Carey, but it's a cover done by the guys who sing Initial D.
Okay.
Like, so there's a Eurobeat version of all these Christmas songs, and they're the best fucking thing in the world.
What? Why have I not been aware of this?
I'll send you this after the stream. This shit's amazing.
You have to.
Oh, I will. We got a couple more things to test.
Real quick, seeing that you're so interested in what my favorite Christmas song is, Driving Home for Christmas.
I don't think I've heard that one.
That one is a fucking banger every time.
I don't think they play that one as much in America. God damn it. Moving along. What was the craziest thing you saw out on a trip with friends or at a convention?
I haven't been to that many conventions. I think, okay, the craziest thing was when I was working at Nondescript Video Game Company, a retailer. They were hosting the Danish Comic Con. And me and another store manager, we're just, perusing the different booths, like walking around, just shooting the shit, just looking at what everyone is doing. And then all of a sudden there's this very cute girl who's like looking at me. And I'm like, I'm in business casual, so blazer, tie, that whole thing. I'm not in any way in my webcam relief getup. And so I see her, I smile at her, and I continue to look around because there's like a lot to look at. And then I like look back, and she's still staring at me. And I'm like, can I help you? Because I do have like a tag around my neck that shows that I'm technically working here. And she looks at me and she goes, "Are you not on YouTube?" And I go, "Yeah." "You're Riser from the Webcomic Relief."
Oh.
And I'm just, what the fuck? This is the first and only time that I have ever been recognized by a complete stranger for YouTube. And so she's like, I'm not even just saying this because like, because of the experience. She was legit so wholesome, so nice. She's like immediately, I used some of your advice because I'm making this comic and it's about this and that and yada yada. And meanwhile, I'm as excited as she is because, oh my god, I got fucking recognized. And so like at one point she's like, "Can I take a photo with you?" And I'm like, "Sure." And we get my friend, the other store manager, to take a photo of us, and we are both shaking like leaves. Because like the adrenaline is just going through us, like, oh my god, she recognized me, and I recognized him, yada fuck yeah. So we're just standing there with arms around each other, like shaking like crazy. That is one of, and even if you ask my former colleague about this, he will still say it's one of the nicest experiences he has ever had, because there was nothing but love and adoration at that moment, and he thoroughly enjoyed it.
That is like the most wholesome fucking story I've ever heard, and I'm so happy for you.
It has it has never happened since. So she has a special place in my heart. She was my first, and she was legit like super cute.
Oh, that's like incredibly wholesome. I'm proud of you. You deserve good feelings like that, my man.
Thanks. How about you?
Crazy thing I've seen on a trip or on a convention. At Anime Boston, I saw two people like fucking under the overpass, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I think they were like two people in cosplay, so I think they were like boyfriend and girlfriend. So good for them.
I mean, that's
like the voyeur. Yeah, that's just Boston. Yeah, so it's like I can't really say it's the craziest thing, but it's like,
I
like
go on.
No, go ahead. I didn't really have much to say.
This wasn't a con, but when I was going to Vegas, where I met the lovely Sam, Stacy, and John, there was two things about it that I thought was pretty like eventful. One of them was that I found out that the whole joke about Smash players smelling,
oh yeah, I know where this is going,
is not actually an overstatement.
Oh god.
And like I'm like, like when you hear stuff like this, you're obviously going, okay, it's a teasing moniker, it's all in good fun. No, actually, if you were around like the Smash booth, you could fucking tell. But the wildest thing was the time where we had sat at the food court in the Mandalay Bay Hotel, and I had Stacy chose to stay behind and watch our stuff, and so me and my friend we go up to order our food, and then when we come back, we notice that she's sitting with someone, and so we are immediately like, oh, is this one of her friends? Because it's Sam and Stacy, they're lovely people, they obviously know a fuck ton of people. But it becomes very clear very fast that she does not know this person, and she is not super fond of him. And so like I'm trying to do my best and just trying to get him to focus on me, but it is very, very clear that he is only focused on Stacy, who is a very attractive girl. And so
boyfriend-free girl.
Yeah,
oh,
and so he's like, "What's your like?" While I was gone, apparently he had asked her, "What's your relationship with that guy?" Like he was fucking in there. And like it's tangentially related to the whole Smash thing, because he was not, in the kindest way possible, he wasn't one of the most attractive people in the world. You know, long, dirty nails. He kind of like little sloppy fat dude, unkempt hair and beard, very greasy, wore a fanny pack, and no, I'm not fucking kidding. And like, okay, I mean, you do you. But we did, eventually we kind of like scared him away. But Stacey and I were just talking at length afterwards about how we should totally just have like pretended that I was her boyfriend just so we could get this fucking dude away from her.
Oh, awful. Sickeningly awful. And like weirdly depraved. Like you'd think, I want to say you'd think like people would have a little more like panache, a little more like understanding with shit like this, like trying not to be like a media creeper, but like no, I guess if you're like just that socially awkward, you don't understand how social cues work, it's like get the fuck away from me, please.
Yeah. Did I ever tell the story about how I met Matt from Super Best Friends at Evo?
No, you haven't, but I remember. Well, actually, no. I think you might have to me, but I don't know if it was like in public. So go ahead.
Like that was yes, I did. Okay, but then I can't say no. It was just like a weird experience. I don't think it was like a very good one. Because like I come up to him and I'm like obviously a huge fan. I'm like, hey, remember how you talk shit about Gene Simmons' son and how he was making Incarnate and all that? Yeah, I made a video about that. And so he's like, oh, you're the guy. And I'm like, oh, did you see it? No. I'm like, okay.
Oh, you're the guy.
It was just like, and it was like very much like, I'm trying to make a funny thing about, hey, you covered this, and I also covered this, like just a fun gist, and he just shut it down immediately. Now, again, I totally get that if you meet a lot of fans, obviously it's gonna get tiresome in the length, like in the end, because you have to be on all the time. It was just like a very awkward conversation. It wasn't as awkward as when I met fucking, what's his name? Chris G, who's a very well-known fighting game player. He was just like, I was like, hey man, I'm a big fan. Can I like get a photo with you? Yeah. And then he just like turns to nothing and throws up the deuces. And I'm like, okay, friend, can you go over there where he's facing and take the fucking photo? We're like, he like, there was no one there.
Was he trying to do like the heart thumbs up thing?
Oh, the fucking Justin Wong shit. No,
yeah.
No, he straight up threw up the deuces, which I'm actually happy for, because I was like, I hadn't even thought like, what do you do when you take a photo with like someone you admire? They're like, oh, you just do that. And then I met James Chen, who, if you're into fighting games, he is a fucking legend. He is the nicest person alive, and I think maybe that hurt me meeting Matt a little more, because like I could tell that James was like in a conversation with people, and so I didn't want to bump in. So I was like standing there waiting for them to finish. And at one point he just like looks at me and like he waves me over. I'm like, hey James Chen, I'm a huge fan of fighting games, and it's because of your commentary that I have become so engrossed in it, and I would very much like if I could get a photo with you. And like really just and he's like, sure thing, man. And he like swings his arm around me and he's like holding me close, and he's like, is your friend taking a photo? And he's like doing a thumbs up to it. And afterwards he's like, oh, I noticed you have an accent. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Denmark. Boy, you came a long way away. Is this your first time at Evo? Like, he's asking all these questions like, that was the fucking best.
Aw. That's amazing. It's honestly like really wholesome in a way, because you can kind of tell the difference between somebody who's like over being a celebrity versus somebody who's just like genuinely a very nice person.
Yeah, if I ever get to meet anyone, like any, and you know me, I hate using the word, but fans, then like that's how I want to be. I want to be like James Chen. I want to have like this conversation. I want to get to know you. Like, what are you about, bro? Tell me about life.
That's very wholesome until somebody tries to like, talk about how mad they are about Made the Best. Then you call the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was during that same what was it called? Comic-Con, where I met the viewer, where there was a bunch of furries was just walking around, and I don't recall who it was, but I texted some of my friends going, in case you don't hear from me, this is why. And then I posted a picture of them. They're like, oh, okay, so this is like, let's just gonna just get straight up murdered by these people.
Someone tries to follow you home one night and looks through your bedroom window with binoculars. That'd be fucking weird, because I'm on the 3rd floor, if that was the case. That is how you are a bad fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna give them a show. Fuck it, I'm here for the people.
I just want to have a good time with the people who seem to like me.
Yeah.
That's a very wholesome thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, another question from Jericho. I just started playing Death Stranding, my first Kojima game. WTF, Kojima? No, seriously, can you guys help me understand what the fuck goes on in Kojima game story? I feel like this needs further reading and context to know what a Kojima game is trying to subvert. Thanks, Jerry.
So, like what's going on in Death Stranding in particular, or?
I think he's like asking about like how to explain like Kojima's like storytelling style. I've only played Buktai, and even then things are like weird, but I thought that was just because it's anime weird. I couldn't really tell if that was Kojima weird.
I haven't even seen Buktai.
Yeah, so like I don't know, like you are the resident Kojima expert, so the floor is yours here on this one.
The thing about Kojima's writing is very much it is very indicative of him having feelings and thoughts about things. And the Metal Gear series in particular came about because Kojima is actually deadly afraid of nuclear war. And so he just kind of took this fear and put it into a video game. So that's why the main theme about like Metal Gear, like ultimately the game is about a lot of things. All the different Metal Gears are about that, but they all have the crux of using super powerful weapons to do bad shit. And that's because that's very rooted in Kojima's fear. He's a person who likes to, and daddy issues. Don't like legit. Man has daddy issues.
I can bring something about that in my thing, but you go ahead.
When it comes to Death Stranding, it was the first time that he really like got to make something else in his more mature days. There was PT, but we don't talk about that, unfortunately. But I think at that time it became evident that Kojima doesn't necessarily just write about what he fears. That was what he used to. Now he does it more about what he's observing. So there's a lot of not very subtle things in Death Stranding that is all about the things that Kojima has observed, the way that the world is going. I mean, like, the man basically predicted a terror attack on American soil what's it called? Through vehicles. He predicted how the memes are going to control the information flow and all this stuff that we're dealing with today. And he also predicted the like how we live now with the whole courier thing. But like in Death Stranding, like oh, I call people with this thing, with this handcuff that is chained to my wrist, which is a not subtle and very obnoxious way of saying, hey, everyone always has their phone on them. It's like they're cuffed to their phones. And there's like this whole thing about how with technology, we are getting closer to each other, but in fact, it's maybe making us push further away from each other. It's like it's very much just like a man observing things in the world that he either thinks are great or he thinks that are bad, and sometimes it is subtle, like Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3. Sometimes it is as blatant as a sledgehammer to the face, which is unfortunately what happened a lot in Death Stranding. But if there's one thing you can say about it, is that it's his way of telling stories. It's very mature to a point, and then that maturity gets abrupted by the most childish, pants on head, stupid shit you've ever fucking seen. Because he is a man, he is a thinker who likes to deal with adult topics, but he's also a fucking huge nerd.
Yeah, I can definitely like agree to that. It just like a lot of his writings have this like weird valley of, if you put in the thought and try to go on his track, so he thinks about some like deep or like pretty big existential questions, and then he gets sidetracked by some weird goofy shit on the side on top of it.
Yeah.
But then when you think about that goofy shit, it also plays into the themes he was talking about the first time. And then it's like it's like a big whip. It's like being whiplash from right to left, from between like deathly serious and deathly stupid. Yeah. And it's a really, you gotta enjoy that kind of whiplash to go with it.
There's also, real quick, there's also a thing where the man just muses over every little fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why it's called September? Well, sept comes from, I'm just making this shit up, by the way. It comes from septumius, which means this, and that's actually related to this. And then, like, when you think about it like that, it could actually mean this. Like, every little fucking thing, he will just muse and think and, like, just twist and turn it, flip it, dip it, bob it, like, and attack it, and give so much fucking agency to something that means nothing. Like, in Death Stranding, the network is called the chiral network, right? Mm-hmm. Which sounds cool, but chiral is what is I think it's an Egyptian term for when you put your hands on top of each other, like the palm on the back of your hand, and straight and stick out your thumbs, and thus they become like a line. That is what chiral means. So it's like holding hands and creating a cable between one another. Like that is how much dumb fucking retarded shit this man goes into.
You think about shit really goddamn hard, Kojima. Mm-hmm. Although I can't even be mad. Just because to a point it's just cool by association when you just like have things like that.
Oh yeah.
Because that's fun. That's like the point of like a lot of Kojima stuff. You just see this really dumb cool shit and he justifies it. You can tell like the passion and the excitement behind everything he does.
Yeah.
I want to like talk about Boktai, my experiences with it, and like I haven't played the third game yet, but there is definitely like big daddy issues, like familial line being a really big theme in those games, because you're essentially playing like the son of a bounty hunter who hunts vampires, whose only sole heir is this like gun that uses the power of sunlight to defeat like evil. but like the sun is also this very big important thing because you literally you can't beat the game without the sun. You need to get outside, get that fresh sunlight onto that fucking cartridge, and if you can't get a good spot, I guess you're fucked then.
Wait,
but then you can't be too much because then the game overheats. But then that also ties into big like fucking narrative significance where like you become too over reliant on the gifts that are around you and you're not being strong on your own right. And then you're like fighting with all these themes against like the familial ties of like your brother who's also from the moon or some shit. And then you have like moon vampires to fight, but you find out your mom's also from the moon. And it's fucking weird. It's fucking... I want to sit down and like explain all the little bits of Boktai and my experiences with how Kojima talks about this. Because it is definitely more on like the childish spectrum as far as like Kojima games go. Because there's a lot of dumb shit. Yeah. Like your mentor figures as the flying talking sunflower. But he does not stray away from like really serious topics. And it makes you go, huh. Okay.
That's what
Wait, like question.
That's what won him a lot of praise from a lot of people back in the day. Now that role is kind of being filled with Yoko Taro, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna cover these serious things and show some fucked up shit, which I'm all for. I think that's super cool. One can then start asking questions about how successfully they cover these subjects, but that's another thing. Riza, what's your opinion on Suda 51? No More Heroes 1 and 2 are some of my absolute favorite Wii games of all time, only being surpassed by Mad World. Go play Mad World. I played No More Heroes 3, and I didn't like it that much. How to put it? Suda 51 I love because there's I always enjoy when someone makes something that is unapologetically theirs. Like Anarchy Dreamers. You cannot sit anyone else but Emily down to create Anarchy Dreamers. If you do that, you're not gonna get Anarchy Dreamers. And
exactly.
you can't sit anyone down to make No More Heroes 1 and 2 without Suda 51 because it needs that weird social commentary mixed with pants on head stupid shit. And I always enjoy when you get creators such as Suda 51 or Swery or Kojima or even Nagoshi from Yakuza, where it's like you have this super fucking serious, poignant stuff, and then you just give me some fucking dumb shit, and it's not just dumb shit, it is weird, it is strange, it is fucking, it is out there dumb shit. Like, in Yakuza, that is all about organized crime. Let me have this mini game where girls dress up like bugs and you can get trading cards with them. And then you can go into an arena where they just do heat moves on each other and beat the ever-loving tits out of each other. Like, that is fucking cool because it helps kind of juxtapose the seriousness. But that's also why I kind of feel that that No More Heroes 3 kind of fell off. No More Heroes 1 and 2, which are actually games that I've thought about making show and tell videos about, are very much about like this whole thing of like violence and how it affects people both through media and all this stuff, as well as coming of age and you know, all these things. And then No More Heroes 3 is just wacky. There's not a single moment, even when it tries to have a serious moment, it just discards it for the sake of lulz. And some people play these games for that, and that is fine. It's just not what I want from them.
I always thought like my issue with later Suda games, like I loved 1 and 2. I actually had a pretty fun time with Lollipop Chainsaw, honestly,
Yeah.
just because the combat was so great. But, like, you can tell from, like, later Suda games, they start, like, he, like, reels back, or whenever he does the pants-on-head stupid stuff, it doesn't feel as impactful as, like, the older games. I feel like, over time, he's kind of had to, like, mellow out, and he doesn't really... He can't get to where he was before, you know?
Yeah, it feels like when he has to do the weird shit, he's just doing weird shit for the sake of doing weird shit. Whereas before, it was like funny little gags. Like, No More Heroes, I think one, where you have to fight the old lady who has the fucking gigantic cannon in her shopping cart. And she's calling you a little prick. Like, that is funny, but it's not something that detracts from her character. She's still an old lady, and you can absolutely understand how she was able to, like, reach the point that she has, because she has this fucking railgun mounted in a shopping cart. And a sick ass beat to follow. But then, like, in the later games, it just becomes, oh, let's have fucking Travis talk with a guy, I don't know who, about Mike, like that Japanese director. And in between every mission, let's just have him and his friend talk about Mike movies and which one's their favorite. And then later, let's have him meet Mike. And it's like, what does this add? Like, I totally get that it's... Like, sometimes you have this creator who just put in stuff because, oh, I like this thing. Like, oh, Iroquois Pliskin in Metal Gear is because Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. Like, it's because he's a fucking nerd. But that's like small stuff. When it's like every fucking moment in between missions, you have to get like a 2-minute cutscene of Travis and a dude just talking about different Mika movies. It's like, you're just doing it for the sake of being weird.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It definitely feels phoned in, I think, is the term we're trying to go for. It just, because when you have weird shit, but it makes sense. Here, it's just like, it's weird for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I'm sued if it 5-1. I have to put this weird shit in there, which is a bit sad. It's more like an animal that's lost its bite.
Yeah,
I think is like the way we can best describe him.
I think like the best example for like when Suda's weirdness was done right is in No More Heroes, when you have to recharge your controller or your beam katana, and like Travis is explicitly moving the hilt down to his dick. Because
it looks like he's fucking masturbating.
Yeah, and like, the sword pops out like it was his erection. Like, that is funny, and it also relates to the themes of the game, of adulthood. So it's like, it's a dumb, weird, wacky thing, but it makes sense. It's not just, and now my cat is turned into a fucking gun or something, like, which I think happens in the third one. I don't recall. And as Caesar says, and there's probably some truth to that. I think maybe it's because like people have come to expect this kind of weirdness from him, and like he has a reputation for making it weird. So now he kind of has to make it weird to kind of up the ante, and that is fine.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't really, I don't know, this sounds like a shit thing to say, it doesn't make it that any more enjoyable. I understand it and I can respect it, but like it wasn't a shitty experience. It just wasn't like the best experience, but a shitty experience is still a shitty experience.
I forget. This is like old. Like Killer 7 and Killer is Dead. I think that was like Grasshopper Studio. Did Suda 5-1 have anything to do with Grasshopper? Or am I mixing?
Oh yeah, that's like his company.
Okay. Because like there's a lot of Grasshopper games that I really loved growing up, and like Killer is Dead, Killer 7, like they were crazy. I think we could probably like make a dissertation about all this. I think like my favorite game from all of them was this like little game on the DS called Contact, which was really fucking weird, really unintuitive game. But like the thing that stood out to me was like at the end where like after everything's said and done, like you're in the credit sequence and the character you were playing as actually is so fucking pissed off at you. He's like, what the fuck was all that? Like, yeah, I don't care that we saved the world. You took my agency away from me while you were playing this game. And it gets to the point where, like, he's, like, throwing shit at the screen, trying to fight against you. And, like, the only way you can kind of, like, continue on with the credits is if you, like, beat the shit out of the character. And it kind of, like, doubles down on this whole like weird depressing fake sort of deal that the whole story was going with. And it's like the whole game itself is weird, but then you have moments like that where it makes you think. It's like, what the fuck? And like Suda and like Suda and like his companies and his games, his early you go back to their backlogs of like games and you'll see moments like this all the fucking time that are just weird. But then they just like fucking like right crosses you across the face with this like meaning, kind of like Kojima does.
Yeah.
You don't expect it, but now because you're expecting it, and he has so much to live up for, like maybe because he's kind of been typecast into this kind of game director, it's like it's never gonna feel as good as it did before.
No, probably not.
Yeah. So like I can't even be mad at Suda. It's more like, if you don't got it in you anymore, you don't got it in you anymore. So it's kind of sad.
Yeah. A real quick thing, and then I think we should close up for today.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know what that sound in the background is, but it's scary.
I think it's like the garbage truck. I'm sorry.
All right. If you like this kind of weird shit, absolutely give Let It Die a go.
Mm.
That is also by Grasshopper Manufacturer, and it is a fucking trip. It is free, and for the first 10 hours, it is fucking great. And then you put the game down and you never touch it again. But in that game, your go-to buddy is a Finnish skeleton, the Grim Reaper, who's walking around with a golf club that doubles as a scythe on a longboard skateboard with glasses on with swirly eyes, who calls you senpai.
Senpai. I love this game so much.
And there's
you can do it, senpai.
Yeah, you can do it, senpai. Like, he has this weird accent I fucking love.
And he's so fucking like supportive. It's like it's not about how many times you die. It's about how many times you try, senpai.
Yeah. So yeah, Let It Die, and it has one of the weirdly best OSTs, because it's just like packed full of licensed song, complete with My First Story and all these other Japanese bands, and they're fucking like, most of them are freaking bangers, and you can listen to them while you're out like killing things. So yeah, if you like Suda stuff, Let It Die is very much in the same vein, and like it's free both on PC and PlayStation. So get it. And then again, once you don't have fun with it anymore, that means it's time to stop.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, the reason why you want to get this game is that you can do sneak attacks, and your sneak attack is a German suplex.
Yeah. You ever just want to randomly suplex somebody up a wall? You can.
Well, you can now.
Play Let It Die. I wish Suda would sponsor us, but we don't speak Japanese.
Nah. Sometimes I wonder if he does.
You know what? Fair. that was like three questions from one thing, but I think that's a good place to end it for today.
Yeah, I think so too. I also need to rest my throat. Jesus fucking Christ.
I have a D&D game in like 45 minutes that I need to prepare.
All right.
So I'll tell you guys about like our D&D games next week, and I'll bore you with that bullshit. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day.